The last customer left the cafe at 11:47 p.m. By midnight, the doors were locked, the lights were dim, and the place should have been empty, except someone kept ordering coffee. My name is Daniel Harper, and for 2 years, I worked the night shift at a small cafe in Portland called Moonlight Brew. During the day, it looked warm and welcoming, soft jazz music playing in the background, warm yellow lights, and the comforting smell of freshly ground coffee beans. But at night, the atmosphere changed completely. When the streets outside went quiet and rain tapped softly against the windows, the cafe felt strangely lonely. That night began like any other shift. A couple of college students packed their laptops and left around 11:30 p.m. I wiped the tables, cleaned the espresso machine, and mopped the floor before locking the front door at exactly midnight. The cafe became completely silent, except for the low humming sound of the refrigerator behind the counter. I checked the wall clock. It was 12:06 a.m. Suddenly, the receipt printer started printing. The sharp buzzing sound made me jump. I walked over and pulled the receipt out, assuming it was some delayed order from earlier. But when I read it, I frowned. Order, black coffee. Name, Emily. The strange thing was that our cafe didn't even take name orders. Customers usually came to the counter and paid directly. I shrugged it off as a system glitch and threw the receipt in the trash. But seconds later, the printer started again. Another receipt slid out slowly. Order, black coffee. Name, Emily. This time, I felt a small knot of uneasiness in my stomach. I looked around the empty cafe. There were no customers inside. The glass door was still locked, and outside, the streetlight flickered through the rain. Probably a software bug, I muttered to myself. Then the printer printed again. Order, black coffee. Name, Emily. 3 orders now. I walked over to the computer system behind the counter and checked the order history. The screen showed nothing. No recent orders, no active requests. Yet the receipt printer kept working like someone was placing orders from somewhere. Just as I stepped away from the computer, I heard something behind me. A chair scraping slowly across the floor. The sound was loud in the quiet cafe. I turned around quickly. One of the chairs near the window had moved slightly away from its table. My heart started beating faster. I clearly remembered pushing every chair neatly under the tables while cleaning. The cafe suddenly felt colder than before. I stepped out from behind the counter and slowly walked toward the seating area. Hello? I called out. My voice echoed softly in the empty room. No one answered. Only the sound of rain tapping against the windows. Then I noticed something strange on the table beside the chair. There was a wet handprint on the wooden surface. It looked fresh, like someone with rain-soaked hands had just placed their palm there. But the front door was still locked. No one had come inside. My hands began to shake. I quickly returned behind the counter and grabbed my phone to check the security cameras. The cafe had 3 cameras, one near the entrance, one pointing toward the counter, and one covering the seating area. I opened the camera footage from the last few minutes. The entrance camera showed the locked door and empty street outside. The counter camera showed me standing there alone. But when I switched to the seating area camera, my heart nearly stopped. The video showed the chair near the window slowly pulling away from the table. No one was visible. The chair moved as if someone invisible had just sat down. At that exact moment, the printer started going crazy. Receipt after receipt started pouring out rapidly. Black coffee, Emily. Black coffee, Emily. Black coffee, Emily. The buzzing sound filled the quiet cafe. My hands trembled as I grabbed one of the receipts. Suddenly, the cafe lights flickered above me. The music system turned on by itself, playing distorted jazz that echoed strangely through the room. Then I heard something that made my entire body freeze. A woman's voice, soft, whispering right behind me. Is my coffee ready? I couldn't breathe. Slowly, with shaking legs, I turned around. No one was there, but the air suddenly smelled like wet clothes mixed with old perfume. The printer printed one last receipt. I slowly picked it up. This one was different. Order, black, coffee, name, Daniel. Before I could react, the lights shut off completely. The cafe plunged into total darkness. In the silence, I heard a chair scraping slowly across the floor, moving closer to the counter. I quit that job the very next morning. Later, out of curiosity, I searched online about the cafe. That's when I found something the manager had never told me. 5 years earlier, a woman named Emily Carter had been reported missing after leaving Moonlight Brew late at night. Her last known location was the table near the window. The same table where the chair had moved. The same place where I saw the wet handprint. Even now, sometimes late at night, I wake up suddenly thinking I hear the buzzing sound of a receipt printer. And every time I do, I remember the last thing that voice whispered in the dark. Daniel, my coffee is getting cold.